Next point is self induced EMF. So if we have one coil and which is supplied through a DC supply, so what happened when current flowing through the coil, flux set up around that coil. And which complete its path, so called as magnetic circuit, through air. Okay. So what happened, according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, if we operate this switch continuously, then what happened, there will be a rate of change of flux, and that flux which get cut by the turns of the coil or conductor of the coil, and EMF is induced in that coil, and that EMF is known as self-induced EMF. And or we can say it is nothing but the self-induction. The next is magnitude of self-induced EMF. So the EMF induced in the coil, which is proportional to turns and rate of change of flux, right? So if we increase the flux, then EMF gets increased, or we increase the rate of change of flux, means if we operate this, the speed of operation of the switch, then flux cut by the conductor gets increased and EMF increases. So minus sign, which is because of Lenz's law. So Lenz's law say that the EMF induced in coil, which is because of the cause, that is nothing but the battery, and the direction of induced EMF, which is opposite to the cause, means opposite to the direction of potential of battery. So the minus sign which is used here. So total flux linking with coil, so phi, which is equal to, so total flux linking with coil, a flux, so we know that the flux which depends upon the current, so flux per ampere into current in ampere, so that is the total flux linking with coil. So we can write phi is equal to phi by I into I, right? And this phi by I says the permeability. This represents permeability, okay, and which is constant. Permeability is constant, so we can say the flux which is proportional to current, right? In another way, we can say that rate of change of flux, which is proportional to or which is equal to phi by I into rate of change of current. So by putting this value in equation So minus n into phi by I into what? d phi by dt in volts. So E is equal to minus n d phi by dt. So minus n, phi n phi by I, which is known as coefficient of self inductance and denoted by L, and so L is equal to n phi by I, and final equation of EMF, which is equal to minus L di by dt in volts. So next is coefficient of self inductance. So we know that L is equal to n phi by I Henry, and phi is equal to mmf by reluctance in magnetic circuit. So mmf is equal to n into I divided by reluctance is equal to L divided by mu A, and this is called as Ni by S, which is in Webers. So if we put this value in above equation, so L is equal to n into n by I, so value of phi, which is Ni by S, so I gets cancelled, and finally we obtain n square divided by S in Henries.